Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we've got minutes to,
Bill, just for the record, we just want to announce that Lisa Durier Thayer is joining us by Zoom today as she is meets the qualification of extreme circumstances as she is a caregiver for her granddaughter today who is ill.
right.
Oh, she's better.
Oh, she's on mute.
Oh, you're on mute, Lisa. Unmute yourself.
Thank you very much. You know, a little ice cream always makes them feel better.
It's a reason to be sick.
Yeah.
Let's see, we have minutes to approve, the planning and work session from June 8th of 2022. Everybody had a chance to read it. Any changes? I'll make a motion to approve them as they're printed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Okay, so we have the monthly board meeting of May 18th, 2022. Anybody want there changes to those minutes?
Nope.
Make a motion to approve them as they're printed. Second, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
June 15th, the monthly board meeting for 2022. Do you hear any changes, corrections to those minutes? Make a motion to approve them as they're printed.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
You're doing pretty good, Rhodey. Nobody's corrected anything.
Where's Joy when you need her?
I know.
Oh, there we go.
She was great.
And then we have the special meeting, July 5th, the organizational meeting. Any corrections to those minutes? I'll make a motion to approve them.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Yes, thank you, folks. Let's see, Southampton Town Police Department monthly report. Do you want to add anything or maybe tell people a little bit about the meeting we had with the captain and I don't know, the other was a captain.
Captain Kiernan, James Kiernan, and Carl
Sergeant.
Sergeant
Sergeant.
Carl Schottenhamel.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah, the meeting went well. We discussed a number of items. Wondering if they were ticketing or just letting go on the traffic stops, and it depended on what the situation was. We have no way of knowing if they ticketed it or not, and they were going to look into that.
In which particular?
Traffic stops.
Just in general. Yeah. So we had asked them whether or not they could let us know how many tickets being written in the village.
Not that we
And-
have to know, but I
Just a
thought it was
sense, no.
important to figure out whether people think they can go to Sagaponic and speed and just get let off, or worry about getting a ticket.
They're gonna see if they can pull that data from the Charlie 48 car.
I didn't mean for them to start ticketing everyone. I just meant, you know, what's the ratio?
And who was it that you met with? Kiernan?
James Kieran, captain, and Sergeant
Carl.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they seem to be
Did a good
on the
job.
wall, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I guess Carl is a guy who actually oversees all the officers, and then the other guy oversees him,
Okay.
layers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Layers are good.
And just so that the board is aware, as I brought into the meeting, now that we have a full roster of part-timers to fill the schedule, it's getting filled. I mean, from up until about a month ago, there was always holes and they would just fill them with full-time officers who needed to pick up a shift or blah, 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 blah. So now we have the part-timers who are I think, more diligent in doing their jobs. And, but Carl admitted that too.
They're gung ho.
Gun ho, that's exactly what he said, yeah.
Thank you, Karen.
Mhm.
Let's see, there was a pavement separation on Daniels, which is being repaired by, who's it?
Rosemar's
Oh, Rosemont,
contractor.
okay, they have a 1-year guarantee on it, so there's no charge to us, they're just gonna take care of that.
So if you see that hole or see that activity over there, I'm not sure exactly where it's located.
A hole in the road?
Well, what happened is, if you look at the pictures,
Oh,
the pavement is separating
oh,
from underneath. It didn't adhere to it. One of those, that's not, see the hole up there?
yeah,
Yeah, so it didn't adhere to it. So they're gonna-
gotcha.
they'll saw cut a piece out
Okay.
and then redo
Hopefully
it.
it appears.
Yep,
Next on.
Yeah, that's what you see in this picture.
yeah. So if anybody asks, we're taking care of it.
Yeah.
Let's see, in terms of new business, we need to, you need to authorize me to execute the engagement letter with our auditors. So I guess I make a motion to, for you guys to authorize me to sign that document. Get a second from
Second.
somebody?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Jane Harold, I guess, has completed the construction of the road and drainage in the subdivision, that old subdivision from years ago. Has requested us to give back the performance bond. But we do not have a final survey. There were changes between the initial layout because of the actual location and utilities, some of the drainage structures removed. And we're holding back, I think it's 20,000 as a, just to make sure that they do a final as-built survey. So the intent is to release $171,925 of the original performance bond. And I guess I'm making a motion to release that part of the performance bond.
Second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 408 Narrow Lane East wants a license to keep some non-conforming features of their building. That's going to continue on the discussion. So that's put off. We have an outdoor assembly permit application for 3 Colden Court. That's kind of in your wheelhouse. Did you go look
I
at that?
didn't even get to look at it, but
Oh,
I
okay.
am now. Okay, so it's a birthday party.
And we've had it in, yes.
And it's been done, yes, as you said, it was on Freehold Court, August 5th, from 7 PM to 11:30 PM. We're gonna have a tent, they're having about 75 people, 15 to help, and a total of 90. It's a catered dinner with a band, around 35 vehicles, there will be a valet company. And there will be on-site security. And there will not be portable bathrooms, no police, no highway, no building inspector. So it's a birthday party, it's not a fundraiser or anything. I guess I make a motion to pass this,
I'll second it.
okay?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You're not on the agenda, but let's,
Should I stand up?
Yeah.
Just so that the board is aware, if you remember last week, there was a request by the Old Stove Pub to discuss the music at the venue.
Yeah,
And it was, you had adjourned it to this week. My apologies. I wiped it off the agenda. So it should be what,
okay, Old Stove
as
Pub.
Phil said. It should be right there.
Hello, thanks for seeing me today. Can I give you a little brief history of me and the Old Stove Pub, for those who aren't aware? My name's Joseph D. Christopher. I'm born and raised in Southampton, local, still here. I have a 5-year-old daughter. who's starting school in East Quad now. We just moved to East Quad. My father was also born here. And when I was little, we had a jukebox at the old stove pub. And I remember going there, changing the records, counting the quarters, having her steak, and being terrified of the grandmother who wore a black veil. But I always have fond memories of that place. And Kula and I actually became friends. I've spent years in real estate. I'm still involved in real estate as a broker. She asked me to help her sell her land. We actually became friends. So I have a fond attachment to this restaurant. The new owner asked me to restore it and sell it. And, you know, over 2 years, I renovated it, rebuilt it, brought it up to code. It was just absolutely one of the worst eyesores in the Hamptons. I mean, it was a shame. This beautiful building with a great history, huge following of locals and tourists. And I was very passionate about doing it. So it sat on the market, if you remember, for a couple of years. Nobody wanted it. They all thought it was a dump. It was horrible, needed to be torn down, needed to be Cipriani, like all glitz stuff, which is completely the opposite of what I believe. We have pine floors. I restored it, nobody wanted it, we kept lowering the price. And then he and his 9-year-old boy with his dad, he said to his father, he said, "Daddy, don't sell it." And he turned to me, he's like, "Joe, why don't you open it?" So that's 3 years. Was it a good decision or not? You know, I'm not really sure. It's probably one of the roughest, time-consuming, horrible, money-losing, you know, it's just stressful, tiring. I'm there 90 hours a week. I am super hands-on. But I like it. So, and, you know, I'm in my 3rd season. COVID was a benefit to the restaurant because of your granting me permission to serve outside. I had literally people, the same people coming 3 or 4 times a week. And, you know, the food's never been better. Sorry, cool, but it's better. It's not Greek, it's Mediterranean. We serve a lot of steak, seafood, oysters, you know. I have an excellent following, excellent reviews. We run a first-class operation, in my opinion. Valet parking's never an issue. Nobody parks on the street. Never had a fight, never had a noise complaint in years since I've been there. We provide excellent food and service where we have a higher rating online than Palm and Bobby Vans consistently.
Good.
I have, you know, all the celebrities, I have all the well-known, you know, wealthy clientele. They just come to the restaurant.
And the locals?
And the locals. So in fact, tonight is family night, kids eat free.
Yeah.
There's gonna be 30 moms and 50 kids. And it's like a little bit of a zoo, and my daughter actually thinks she has her weekly birthday party. So I get to see her because I'm never home. So we, you know, we've always had music, you know, and when I'm talking about music, tonight the guy is a school teacher from East Hampton. He teaches music, he interacts with the children, and he lets them play his synthesizers and things. It's always early, 5:30 to 6:30, like he'll do 2 hours, 5:30 to 7:30. It's not, you know, like I'm not a crazy club person. I mean, I might have when I was little, but you know, now being the age I am, I want to go to bed before 11. So we're rarely there past midnight. So there's no crowds. The parking lot's empty, but I love to talk. Lost my glasses. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of a background of me. I mean, you know, I don't know if anybody remembers, but before the 2 years it was shut down, that place was bad. Not only food wise, it had a really bad reputation. it was known for late night drinking and other things. They had 100 health code violations. It was one of the most horrific sights you can imagine, from sewage draining into the basement, the bar not having piping, so all the water went into the thing. Got all my permits through John, I fixed everything, he inspected it, I've always complied with all the town codes. I have a new assembly permit. Fire marshal just asked me to put in $18,000 fire system, which I upgraded the fire system this year. It's just a great place, and I think it's better than it's been, and it's an asset to this area, it's an asset to the community, and I'm quite passionate about that space and the business and my clientele and being able to provide a service. So, music.
So I guess what we'd be looking for is kind of like a box that this fits into. Things happen, it seems like something's allowed to come in, it's like the camel's nose under the tent,
Right,
and they grow.
right.
And I think we need to say this hours, this device, you know, like really define, so it doesn't turn into, you know, you may not be there that long, and the next guy's gonna say, well, you let
I let joke.
yeah, you know, so it grows into something that becomes obnoxious.
Obnoxious is a good word, and I don't want to be obnoxious.
Exactly, no, we sense that with you,
This village,
but there's always the next person to look at, so. That's what we're looking from you, is really define limits on what you're gonna do.
Okay, so music's always early. They play inside, but when it's hot and I'm busy, they want to be outside in the grass. It's limited till 6 to 9 o'clock. Smaller groups. I don't like loud music. My diners don't want it, but they like the pianist, guitar. 90% is solo. Once in a while, there's like a 4-piece band, but it's not a late night thing. So the music, I'd like to be able to shift it, weather permitting, from inside to outside at reasonable hours that we agree to now without pushing the envelope.
Right,
The only issue I see is competition with your people down the road with the winery, the wine stand on Friday nights. Do they still have that?
no idea.
Yeah, Wolfer has live music 3 or 4 nights a week. They go until 9 or 10 o'clock and they play during the day. They don't, it's not really a restaurant.
No, I know.
A lot of the people come from there to the Old Stove Pub for dinner.
Mhm.
They walk down the street.
I don't see how you would worry anyone because nobody's around you. It's the highway, there's fields, there's grapevines,
There's a,
and a golf course.
well, we've never had, to my knowledge.
I mean, Greenleaf might be behind you.
We don't have a, well, the people who live in that house are in my restaurant every week, so. So they love it there.
Oh, there's people that live in the restaurant?
No, at Greenleaf.
Oh.
So she's always over there, she gets it.
Go way back, almost to the Old Stove Pub.
Yep.
What's his name? Nicholas built a house back there and then he sold it. I think was the closest neighbor
That's
to
part of that.
Nicholas.
Part of that.
I just know the wife,
You're correct. Yeah.
she was here Friday night, I was like.
Right, well, the guy I know sold it. He built it and sold it. So
Right.
I don't know who's there now.
So I mean, Wolford does what they do, when they're, you know, they're not I'm not worried about what they do, or the
Yeah, I was
distillery
just
has
wondering how
music all the
close you
time.
were to them. Can you hear them?
Once in a while.
Yeah.
The wind has to be the right direction.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
can
it
hear
has to
them.
go
from my-
this way.
Yeah.
I never
That's
hear
fine.
Welfare, I don't hear the distillery. I know, you know, they sometimes have like bigger venues at the distillery. They had a huge tent there this weekend with like a big band and I don't know how many people, but there was some pretty.
That's outside the village.
Oh,
It's not our
that's,
concern.
oh, it isn't. So
That's
SAVCON
the
is not
honor
an
roll,
issue,
that's-
you know, I think we complement one another, they don't. I don't, you know, I went there, I left so hungry, I ordered everything on the menu twice and, you know, went to my restaurant for dinner, so. The wolf,
Oh, well,
so,
well, you must know my parents, they were there every Saturday night while they were alive, and my dad got the biggest steak each time, so. There,
before me or within that?
yeah, with Hula.
Well, I was probably 10 years old when my dad.
Well,
my
Dick
father
and
might
Betty
have-
Fair, that's, they were there.
So, I mean, I don't know if you ever been, but you should come, you know, the food's good. I mean, you know, I can't offer you a discount because of your bride, but just come.
Can I ask a question when there's a moment?
Go ahead.
Isn't it possible that I'm assuming Jonathan Howe is playing the piano for you?
The name sounds familiar. I use a not-for-profit to book my music.
No. You said you had an East Hampton School District music teacher. That's why I said, isn't it possible?
Giancarlo Filippi.
Oh, okay, interesting. So my thought process would be is, isn't it possible that you don't have to amplify a piano player, is my point. And maybe that would suffice the sound carrying more reasonably, since your diners want to enjoy the music, you might not need to amplify it under the tent or in the outside area.
A real piano, we wouldn't have to amplify like everybody plays the electronic keyboards, the guitars, and their amps are, you know, sizes of briefcase. So there's no piano outside. You know, there was one inside forever, but
Yeah, and I know I was familiar. You had one inside, so I questioning the amplification need.
right. It's never loud. We don't, you know, that's why it's hard to imagine without experiencing it. You cannot have loud music while people are playing dinner because everybody will complain. So it's not, it's
dinner music.
It's dinner music.
Yeah.
It's ambiance.
Yeah,
And we have a beautiful ambiance. So
yeah, you sound very reasonable.
thank you. I am reasonable and I like to abide by the rules and work with people instead of against them. So I'm asking that, you know, you allow me to have live music outside.
I mean, is this something we could do as maybe a license and then?
That's what I was gonna suggest, Mayor.
Yeah.
So, the issue is, Joe, that the code provides for no exterior noise.
Right.
No speakers, no amplification. That's why Lisa asked about the, you know, not having the keyboard hooked up to a speaker. So the village code is crystal clear that it says no amplifiers, speakers, or other machines or devices capable of reproducing amplified sound on the exterior of any premises. That being said, again, with the board's concern of the camel with the nose in the tent, perhaps we grant at least an exception for the, while the tent is up for the summertime, run it to whatever that date might be, October 1, license agreement to allow amplified music, as long as it's consistent with the decibel settings that are set forth in the code under 142.3. They're all standard. You're not blasting it out anyway. If you're not going to have any complainants, we're really kind of complaint driven, so you wouldn't hear from us anyway. But I think if the board grants an exception to the noise chapter until October 1st, as long as the amplified music in the exterior is consistent with the noise decibels in 142.3, and then next year we can take another look at it if for renewal in the springtime if you're going to keep that tent again.
Well, the tent was a one-off this year. I don't think, everybody's been blaming COVID for everything. I can't, you know, although, you know, it is an issue, but people are just simply more comfortable outside in space and air.
There's an element of that that's going to stay. No
I
question.
think so.
So,
I mean, the elderly customers I have just refuse. They won't sit out.
Joe, when do you normally, I mean, I know it's weather dependent, but generally, when do you stop serving outside?
The kitchen's open to 10, but we rarely get a table after 9 o'clock.
Okay, and then what date wise, October 1st, October 15th?
So I think the 10th's good too, September 15th.
I think you said Labor Day weekend or September
15th, we have it,
yes.
the 10th.
Okay. So you want really amplified music outside until then?
Sure.
You gonna keep the 10?
Are you gonna let me?
I would keep it through the winter.
Oh, the winter.
Well, why don't, if I earn the right to ask, we could address it then, but I kept it up, we have permission through December. But what I'm seeing is the Hamptons are becoming what they've always been. It's July and August, just insane. And June was terrible. Memorial Day weekend was great. June, we were down 46% in June in sales and dinners. And rentals, as we all know, are off. There's still great rentals everywhere. So I think we're going back to that summer crowd, and then they're going. I'd love to stay open, but I'm also a businessman, and I've opened Old Stove Pub in Manhattan on the east side. So I think my energy and my team will be back there. But if I could stay open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday through the fall and winter, I'd love to. I may reinvent the place in some ways and just make it very hub-like, lots of burgers and,
Right.
it's expensive now, but I'm just trying to recover from losing money for 6 months. So,
Okay. Well, we'll work on some kind of agreement.
Yeah, so maybe even if we put on the record now, Mayor, we can vote on it if the board's inclined to grant an exception for exterior noise, exception to section 142.2 until October 1st, as long as the exterior noise is consistent with the noise standards in 142.3.
Sure, sounds great.
I second.
Okay.
So Bill, you
I
made that
make a
motion?
motion, you second it.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There we
thank
go,
you.
just like that.
Brian, are you gonna have some?
I'll leave you that too.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it,
Thank you.
got it.
Okay, great to hear about
Thank
it.
you.
I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
I'm
But please
glad
come.
it's back open.
Don't come on Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, really.
Thursdays is local, so I give 20% off everybody who
Oh,
comes to
that's
the
nice.
restaurant.
Okay.
For
Got it.
locals. And if you have kids, Wednesday.
We'll
So
stay away.
it's kind of yeah, I wish I could, but my daughter has so much fun. All right, well, thank you, everybody.
All right,
Joe.
nice to meet you.
Good luck the rest of the season, Joe.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Thanks, Brody.
You're welcome, Joe.
yeah. Discussion items, here we go. Rhoda's gonna.
Did you want to do the adoption on the VNT or did you want to chat
Yes,
about it?
yes,
first?
no, that's right, absolutely. I think it's in your paperwork, stop signs, Town Line
The
Road.
last piece under new business,
Yeah.
last page under new business.
uh,
And that explains
Additional
the
stop
location.
lines on Town Line Road, as we discussed with the East Hampton Town Supervisor. Their stop signs will appear sometime later in the year due to their own extended process to adopt. They have to have public hearings to put up a stop sign. But
They agreed to it?
yeah, well, we'll see, I mean, politicians.
That's a
And
lot of
also-
stop signs.
Also agreed to removing some of the parking at the end of Town Line Road, so an ambulance should be able to turn
That's
around.
great, well done.
Yeah,
So last week when we were talking about stop signs, Brian was concerned, he brought up the fact that
Oh,
he thought it
town
would be
hall.
dangerous for us to have a stop sign on, without the East Hampton, side having their stop sign up. Did you want to talk more? about that?
We solved that.
People don't.
Oh, we saw it.
It's solved, yeah, it's solved.
Pulled it up with the supervisor, and he said that it would be helpful to him getting it through their board if we put up a stop sign as soon. Yeah, I know, that's my own concern, really.
Tell me what
because,
was resolved.
I missed it, sorry.
He said that they would put up a stop sign on their side of the road, Parsonage, Hedges, Wainscott Main Street, and Daniels Lane.
Now, what happened last time was because we put the stop sign up at Daniels in Town Line. And I dug up the paperwork and I sent it over to him.
Yeah,
We had sent the mayor had sent the letter to the town board saying that we're putting the stop sign in. And it would be helpful if you installed one on the opposite side, on your side, on the northern traffic. So it went to the supervisor, who then, or the town board, who then sent it to some guy that I'm not sure what his position was, who then said that it would have to be Steve Lynch's, who was the superintendent of highways in East Hampton. So I think that's where it just didn't get done. So I sent that off to the supervisor, who said that he was gonna speak with him, because he is the one that's gonna have to make that decision of whether or not that sign gets installed, because the superintendent of highways is an elected position and has autonomy on those particular decisions. And they're gonna,
I don't understand that. I mean, if the town board passes a resolution to put up a stop sign, it's not in the discretion of the highway superintendent.
I agree with that 100%.
I don't know how that works in the town.
Yeah, no, I think the way you described it is correct. He is an independently elected official, but the town board ultimately passes the stop sign, so I agree with you.
So they're the only ones that can amend the code.
Yeah,
Yep,
instructively
okay, I
do
got
it.
you.
Right.
Yep, gotcha.
It appeared in the meeting. I feel it's going to get done, particularly because the Wainscott people and the Sag side people on Town Line Road are having a lot of problems with the commuter hour. And it is virtually impossible to make a left-hand turn at certain times of day to get home. So people have to go around another route to get onto their own roads. So,
That's right.
I think we should notify the emailers, that whole list of people who emailed us about their traffic concerns, that they should, the agreement with the East Hampton supervisor.
Right.
So that maybe they pile on. You think
I
that's
can send one, if you adopt this, then I can tell them that this was adopted by the board,
right?
and any assistance or, urging of the East Hampton Town Board would be appreciated to install on their side.
Okay.
I have some questions.
Yep.
This is a resolution that we're gonna pass today.
Yes.
Okay, 7 stop signs is, I think, way too many. And I don't think one is needed next to Parsonage or Hedges. The one on Wainscott, Wainscott Main Street and Town Line Road, I agree with. The narrow lane ones are okay. And Sag Road and narrow lane, I'm not understanding where that is.
Jack Road.
Just before you get to the bridge,
Pikes Farm.
part of that is, I want to get a sign up there.
Okay,
with a
I agree with that.
truck detour sign, so they have to stop,
Yeah.
look at the truck detour sign and make a right turn and go by my house.
Yeah, so Town Line, as it looks like, you're coming south on Town Line from the highway, you stop at Parsonage, then you
Yep.
stop at Hedges,
Yep.
and then you stop at Daniels.
Yep.
Oh, no, then you stop at Wainscott.
Wainscott.
And then you stop at Wainscott Main Street.
Daniels.
Too much. I
Yep.
say we get rid of the Parsonage and the Hedges. Can come back to it at a later time and just do the 5 as opposed to the 7 at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, we finally got an agreement out of East Hampton to do something, I think.
But it's just too many. There's too many stop
You
signs.
drive that way that much that it's gonna tick you off.
I think
Ticking me off.
considering
Too many stop signs. Too many on one road.
It's gonna deter, as we were told.
it's going to deter the, not everyone stops at a stop sign, as we know, but it is going to lower the speed, and Google, whatever it's called, maps and stuff like that, will actually stop using that road as for new people that are trying to find their way around the traffic.
How do you know that?
Because
It was brought out at our last meeting.
By a person who lives in Sagaponic who wants stop signs. They could have made it up, is what I'm saying. How do we know?
I actually knew I know Derek Soldier, and I don't think he made it up. And then there was another person that also brought it up later in the meeting. Two different people brought it up, how the computer system works. It actually makes some sense that the computer system works that way, that they're looking for the quickest route to get you through an area, and stop signs do not do that. And I just think that we do need this, and that's my opinion.
All right, so if we have 7, and then East Hampton is going to also put some up, that's gonna be 8, 9, how many altogether?
Well,
It's the
they'll be
same-
same intersection.
Oh, no, it's different stops.
Three-way stops.
Yeah, but you're adding in narrow lane in this discussion.
No.
Are you trying to count up what's on town
No, I'm
line?
saying
or-
altogether, there's 7, plus the one East Hampton's gonna put up on town line going north, plus the one that's southeast
Well,
Hampton.
it'll match these on the east side.
Yeah, but it's another stop sign.
Yes, that's correct, going north and south.
Yeah. It's another stop
So it's,
sign.
it's a three-way.
I think it's too
intersection stop
many.
sign.
Does anybody agree with me that it's too many?
I think we need to do something about the traffic. I think maybe the hedges one, since it's already at Wayne Scott Main, maybe I would agree with you about the hedges lane stop sign. I don't know how the rest of you feel about that.
I think you put up, do you ever talk to your brother? We got a letter in here.
He and
from
I
him.
disagree.
Oh.
So that's that.
He wants a stop sign, he wants to go into a stop sign factory and put them out by the hundreds.
I
He's
want
got a
a stop
bunch of
sign on
signs.
Bridge Lane at Seascape, maybe, I
I'm
mean, it's
for
just
that.
because
I'm with
there's
you.
just so, and that would be annoying, obviously, stop signs, it's annoying to stop, but it's more annoying to see people going 90 miles an hour just consistently.
Yeah, no, I agree.
On Monday, when we met with the East Hampton supervisor, I don't know the gentleman on duty that day, but Bill, didn't he say to you he had just clocked someone at 80 miles an hour
Yes, on Hedges Lane in the
on
morning.
Hedges?
Yes, David DeLong, Officer DeLong.
Thank you. So I just think Bridge Lane, Maryland, hands down, I agree with you. Because sometimes they try to come over the bridge and see if they can get their wheels up in the air before they land, you know?
And it's worked.
You're in trouble.
They used to do it.
Several years ago, Southampton Village put pretty much a stop sign at every intersection
And
Yeah,
on
we-
Wickapog,
in
right?
the
That
village.
was,
And a few of them complained about certain, like I think over by Old Town Road somewhere. But for the most part, it all worked out. They slowed traffic, they all worked.
dust.
Wickapog is, it just noted it
Wickapog's
right now,
huge
so you have to
difference.
stop.
Sag Harbor just did that.
And after they did that,
Oh, yeah.
a few local citizens complained and they reevaluated and they did pull a few. They did, amend a few of the things, but left most of them. And it was kind of an experiment in traffic slowing, and it certainly worked in a good number of places.
I just
in the
can't even
village.
believe about Wickapog because not only do I drive it, but I show houses there. And before, you could barely sell a house on Wickapog because it was just so,
Yeah.
it was a highway, it was so loud. Now I show a house on Wickapog, it is not loud. It's a completely different street.
Yeah.
People just there's not the traffic on it because they can't like whiz down. It's really annoying. You have to stop like 5 times,
Yeah,
but it works too. So,
I mean, even if people run the stop sign, they do go slower running it
right.
than if there was no sign.
yeah. That's the
Also,
thing.
the police officer very easily with their cams on their vehicles nowadays can write a ticket for running a stop sign where the speeding, they don't tend to write the ticket unless they're over 45, correct, Bill? Farber, not Bill.
The problem with the having, call them rookies working here, they're not familiar, they don't have the radar set up, the radar training. And a part of their radar training is to make independent estimates of a traveler's speed.
Mm.
And they can't make an independent estimate because they have no experience doing that. So they're kind of at a disadvantage to write in any kind of a speed.
You're right, Bill, and the captain did bring that up in the meeting.
Oh,
He
yeah,
did
oh, good.
mention that they were,
But
the sergeant.
they can write a stop sign.
Yeah, they have written the speeding tickets, but you're right, it may not hold up in court because if they haven't been trained on it. Although the 30 to an 80, it's definitely speeding.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
maybe,
think we can always roll back the issue, but if we show some improvement by doing this in the next week or two, then that would be a plus because the speeds are just amazing. I had one this morning at 6:15 in the morning and I thought to myself, I can't even drive that fast on the Long Island Expressway,
So let me get
It's-
this straight. We've got 7 stop signs here. And East Hampton has agreed to put stop signs up on town line at Parsonage,
Yep, Parsonage, Hedges,
Hedges,
Wainscott, Maine.
Wainscott, Maine.
and Daniels.
So that's 11 stop signs. And the issue is mostly at Wainscott Main Street. Making the turn there.
No, the issue is.
No, there also can be an issue at the end of Daniels Lane because we are stopping and they're blowing through and not letting you turn left to head to Old Wainscott, Maine.
Oh, coming east, making a left, you can't.
Yeah,
they're
at the
blocking
end of Daniels.
Stop sign going north.
Right, there's none going north, and I think this is an important thing that we start trying to stop this driving through SAG, just to avoid the highway. And I understand people's frustration because I get frustrated in traffic too, but they're not pleasantly going through SAG. And they're not admiring the land we preserved or the historic houses or the farm fields or anything. They're just blowing through.
I don't see it warranted for Parsonage and Hedges.
I hate to make you angry.
I mean, we're discussing. I
Yeah,
don't have an issue with
Yeah.
anybody disagreeing with me. I'm just
Okay.
trying to say what I think.
yeah.
Hedges Lane is a bigger commute than Daniels.
And what's the
There's-
problem with the stop sign on town line? You're gonna have a stop sign on town line going north
Correct.
and south at Hedges.
We can only do the south ones on the west side.
Yeah, right.
The East Hampton's doing the north.
how
So
soon after is East Hampton gonna do its installation?
He figured September, right, Bill?
they said
Yeah, that's-
6 months.
He said September, yep.
Set a hearing date and blah, 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 it kind of pushes it back, yeah.
We should think about, obviously the coordination of that as well, for installation.
I asked that specifically, and he said he would prefer if we put our signs up because it would push the board to do it.
I concur with what Bill just said.
That's
I don't
correct.
like the idea. I think
Yeah.
they should be coordinated, but he said specifically, go ahead and get them up soon because that'll push the board to get it done.
And he said that. Bill's right.
Yeah,
And I think the problem we hear about no matter when, I can go for a walk and in Bill Barber's old house, Gleasner walks out to see me to tell me how fast people go around her corner. Like soon as she sees you, she knows you're on SAG board and yeah, that's it. Sorry. But I just feel that you can always take away a stop sign. I think if we don't start addressing this problem, we'll lose all control of our village. And I think the cops can very easily ticket a stop sign problem. It's harder right now for them to do the speeding because they're the newbies or whatever they're called.
No idea about that. It's very interesting.
I mean, a place like Parsonage Lane, I think they can sit there And if somebody blows through it, it's very, they're concealed. You can't see into Parsonage Lane very well as you approach a stop sign. So if they're gonna blow through it, the cop can sit there. There's a lot of places where a cop can't conceal himself, but at those road ends, if you're going south, you can't see beyond the Hedges house there or the 700 Hedges Lane. They block the view around the corner. And it's a great place to set up and write a ticket.
I think we should concentrate on where the issues are on Main Street, Wainscott and Daniels.
Those are both safety issues, I think.
Yeah,
The Daniels Lane, East Hampton side, we pretty much covered ourselves on hydroponic side, but it's definitely, in my opinion, that's a safety issue.
It's a serious one, yeah.
The same with Wainscott Main Street. I mean, something's gonna happen there where you can't see for the hedge on the left side, and it would slow down. The other ones that we're talking about on Hedges and Parsonage aren't necessarily a safety issue at the moment, more traffic slowing,
I'm nervous about getting a new stop sign at Hedges and Parsonage because it's new. People take a while to get used to new stop signs. So you stop coming east on Parsonage and there is a car coming and you go right and this car blows through the stop sign and you're in an accident. Because they're not used to that stop sign being there or whatever.
well, the same's happening on Town Line and Daniels.
Right.
You're not used to having to stop.
Yeah, but isn't it slower there? I mean, that's one turn and then another, like between Parsonage and the highway and Hedges is a longer stretch.
What I do think is that Brian's point from last week about the assumption that it might be a three-way stop and it's actually a two-way stop until East Hampton puts their stop sign in. Maybe we could do the Wainscott Main one immediately and
Ridge Lane should be done immediately too, what you suggested.
appreciate that.
What happened with bringing up the stop line on the roads that they're too far back on?
I
Are we doing that?
had the highway department look at that the other day, last week. Jude was on Thursday and I asked him to go check it out and he talked to the highway department. So they're gonna move
We're
those
supposed to.
signs or lines, or they're supposed to
Now,
correct
we're
them.
Also on Parsonage.
Seascape.
Seascape.
Bridge Lane.
No,
Nope.
I mean, on Bridge Lane, there's a stop sign on Seascape, but I walk
Oh,
on
okay.
Bridge Lane, so, so
Maybe
stop.
maybe do this in two parts. Maybe we do this in two parts. So maybe we do the stop signs that Maryland, because, I still have that concern about East Hampton, with the concern of having
Right.
open stop, and somebody thinking it's an all-way stop, and we have to get the signs of oncoming traffic doesn't stop, and those kind of concerns. Maybe we do this in two parts. Maybe we approve for tonight this afternoon for the installation of the two intersections that don't need East Hampton. And then the resolution, do a two-part to authorize it, and then Rhodey can get that resolution to East Hampton and see if that doesn't, then it
Right.
coordinate at least the installation at the
But
same
not
time.
install.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
And
Sure.
leave off Hedges and Parsonage, right?
No,
I think do it.
Ultimately, I think we do it when East Hampton does it, though. At least we wouldn't have these stop signs, these random stop signs that aren't three-way, right?
So if we take away the Parsonage and Hedges one that go up in a few months, and then East Hampton has theirs, and then we decide it's not right, and we want to take ours down, does East Hampton have to have another public hearing to take the stop sign
Yes.
down?
Yes.
Yes, they do.
Hedges Lane is our biggest commute through in the morning and in the afternoon. Don
I was
commented,
down there at 5 o'clock the other day, and there was not a soul around.
That's where the officer got two speeders on Hedges Lane, both employees of Gurney's.
they start the commute at 2:30 because they want to be home at a certain time and it takes X amount of time from here to Mid-Island. Don talked about numerous times that he couldn't get out of his driveway, he used to say, on Hedges, either left or right.
What's that got to do with the stop sign?
We're trying to overall, beside safety, we're also trying to slow down the blowing through sag. And I think that not doing it is just it's not going to help us in the long run.
I don't think it's gonna deter anyone. It will maybe slow them down.
Well, it's,
Well, slowing down is important and.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a lot fewer people on Wickapod. I just know, I've been driving that street for all the years of my.
Does the trade parade end at 5? Because I was there at 5:15 and there were no cars. When does it end?
At night,
Yeah, 5:15 in the afternoon, I came up Bridge Lane, nobody. I came down the cemetery, nobody. I went up Daniels, nobody. I went down Town Line, nobody.
I think it's more
Take
in
us
the
out.
morning
That was
where
2
they
days ago.
use the speeds on Hedges.
yeah, I think the eastbound is morning and the westbound.
And I think
they
the
go
fall of them,
wild.
the one on Bridge Lane will definitely welcome to Sagaponic.
Look, can we agree on a staged implementation? I think we should do all the stop signs. And maybe for the next meeting, we'll write up Seascape, yeah, Bridge Lane and Seascape. But I think we should do it. I think as soon as possible, get the stops. Oh, let's see, what do we need? Wainscott Main Street.
Town
Town Line
Line
Road.
Road, narrow lane. Wainscott Harbor, that's right.
Yeah, Wainscott Harbor and Sag
Narrow
Road.
lane.
I mean, that's pretty simple. My neighbors were harping on me about that. And I think it's necessary to try to stop people before they get to the bridge and have a turn, you know, so the trucks stop going over the bridge.
And then what about the other way? Would you, like, is
You
there
have
a way?
to have
to-
some signage that, what I would envision it is at the stop sign or just before it. The one on Narrow Lane East, just as you intersect with Sag Road, there's a stop sign. And right now, a ways back up the road, it says 5-ton bridge and has an arrow pointing to the right. At the stop sign, we need an arrow pointing to the left that says truck detour, trucks over 10,000 GVW. Have to make it right.
Does that mean pounds? Does that mean pounds?
Yeah, right.
Um,
That's the way the registration is written.
so,
Registrations are not written in tons.
I don't.
Yeah,
What I was thinking is it's another collaboration, but here's and I don't know if it's crazy to think about it. So your stop sign, this is narrow lane, there's the bridge. And so the trucks would go this way. The trucks coming this way, if you ask Southampton to have a truck detour sign over Merchants Path, and then they go down
Yeah,
Wainscott
that's
Harbor,
what they need.
Before
Yeah.
they get to the
Well,
bridge.
that's-
they probably they won't be able to cross the highway with the light, but you know, at least they won't go over the bridge. If the
Yeah,
truck
well, they can go over
detour-
there and then come around the Narrow Lane East.
Okay.
I'll get the wave to more trucks. It's fine with me.
So, yeah, that's what I was thinking the other day. It's like, darn it, it's not gonna stop trucks coming this way. And then I
Yeah.
thought if they had another detour sign going over Merchants
I
Path.
kind of thought somebody had asked for that for years and
Yes,
the highway superintendents have just totally ignored it.
yes.
But
All the above.
with the new guy, I think he's very responsive. Yeah.
I believe you're correct.
I'm with all of you, and this isn't written in stone. I would like to see the one on Bridge Lane added to it.
Oh,
I think,
I agree.
I think that will be a very annoying stop sign.
Which one, where?
It's manned by,
Bridge
Bridge
Lane.
Lane, CC.
Bridge Lane.
Bridge Lane and.
as you come over,
Right by
as you
you.
come over the bridge onto Bridge Lane, they come over that bridge and they nail it.
Yeah.
But if there's a stop sign, it's
On Bridge Lane?
Yes,
Yes,
at Seascape,
east and west.
at Seascape.
Carrie,
Is
it's
it
gonna be
Seascape?
really annoying to me too, yes, but it's like, I just think that the speeds are unbelievable. And there's no deterring them with one officer, you can't be everywhere at once.
What is it, east-west?
Yes.
Maybe we'll put a
That's all
couple
ours.
of baby carriages hanging around the area. Halfway in the road.
That's a great idea.
Animatronic babies in there waving like this?
Pop-ups.
Oh, yeah.
In East Hampton Town used to
Fake cop.
fake cop in the car.
The blow up.
So I think the resolution is,
Someone's-
if we're gonna do two parters, the narrow lane, Seg Road, the narrow lane, Wayne-Scott Harbor, north-south, you can control both sides. Bridge Lane, Seascape, east-west, authorize the installation now. And then on the others that are on this list, the second part is authorize and install in coordination with the town of East Hampton.
All the town line road ones.
Right.
yeah, but we talked about how bad it is when you're trying to come from Town Line Road and
Like a-
turn
Maybe that.
off
one
of
stop.
Wainscott Old Main Street, we'll call it.
I think
That
maybe-
was one of the ones that Peter Van Scoyac knew about when he
Does that-
talked to us
that
Monday.
needs- That needs a coordinating East Hampton one,
Yes.
right, Lisa? That needs
Yes.
someone on the other side.
But it's on our side.
Right.
It's
I,
the
I,
commute through from our side that's
Okay.
creating it.
Okay.
I mean, it's, people are gonna have to get used to it, but they're used to the Daniels Lane one. I think it's the other two that we aren't urgent, but that one is.
So let's add that to the authorize and install now list.
Right.
Wayne Scott,
Okay.
Maine, and town line.
We also left the meeting, Brian, saying that was one we were going to do this week.
Oh, okay, good,
Good.
perfect.
So we do want to be consistent with what he said because it was a positive meeting.
Great.
I'll make a motion to.
Okay, so, no, just, I'm sorry, just before you do that. So are we taking out the parsonage and town line,
They're
and
gonna
the
do it
hedges
later.
and town
There's a
line?
way.
Right, so we're gonna take them out of here, and we're gonna, only one on town line that we're
No,
gonna
I
install.
think they're
this
all
one.
in the resolution, but we're gonna tell the highway department not to put them up yet.
Correct.
Okay.
Install in coordination with the town of East Hampton.
Okay, so this list that's here is going to have, in addition, it's gonna say Bridge Lane, hang on a minute, let me get this intersection of Seascape Lane on Bridge Lane, east and west.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay,
I'll make that motion.
I just want to clarify one more time, unless I'm not hearing this right. We are doing the one on Hedges Lane and Wainscott Main Street.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, fine. I'll be quiet.
and parsonage,
I'll second it then.
and parsonage,
All in favor?
all of the ones on town line.
All in
No,
favor?
I'm talking about when we told Peter Van Scoyac, we were going to do the one opposite old Wainscott Main Street. I'm asking, is that one we're putting off
No,
until
that's-
East Hampton gets it together, or are we doing that one now? Because that one is incredibly dangerous. That's the one
Yes.
Barbara DeAndre and all those people talked about.
That's a now.
That's now. Perfect. I'll second then.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye.
Okay.
Just
Just
as an added note, the way we got started on this thing was after that tragic accident on,
right.
on Town Line. That got everybody's tragic wheels are turning, so that even though we've all been visiting this off and on for a couple of years, we can't have this happen again. And it shows that we're, at least we're, as a board, doing something about it. Little too late, but it was an accident, so maybe this will prevent another.
Years ago, one of my first trustees, Al Kelman, I don't know if you ever knew him, but his comment was a number of times that we should stop repaving and that we should promote potholes. And in a way, I mean, it's true, the more you pave, but what do? I mean, you do have to take care of the roads. And there are a stop sign, a speed limit sign, beware of children. All these things are suggestions to some drivers. My opinion is that at some point you have to get to things that are actual obstructions, not potholes. But our good attorney here says that Jennings Avenue and Patchogue, they're up to 4 speed tables. People have requested it to keep the speed, the parallels, so what is it, 112 or
North
something?
Ocean Avenue.
Ocean Avenue. And the neighborhoods have petitioned to get these things because people have been using this as a bypass to the main road. And they found that this actually slows them down. And this is the speed tables and road closures are things you cannot ignore. You cannot blow through a speed table. You can't blow through a road closure. You can't go through a stop sign. You can't ignore everything else. And I think really at some point as we pave, we have to start looking at that because you cannot have people driving at 80 miles an hour through our neighborhoods.
Let me ask you this, when you met with,
Vance Koyak,
John,
Cops.
McCarville? Yeah,
John McCarthy,
yeah.
was he aware of these speed tables?
I can't
We
remember.
told him that,
I don't think you
I don't
did.
think we did.
Yeah.
We probably should,
I don't think we did.
see what he
see what he
thinks.
thinks.
And the other thing was, in Sweden, they put out plastic potholes
Oh.
on some of the roads. And they have a video on a pole watching after they roll this plastic
Oh,
pothole
really?
out. And they show cars slamming on their brakes and trying to avoid it. And it was unbelievable until the people behind the car that sees the pothole were skidding out of control. And so it became a bit of a hazard. But on the video to look at them, they look real as hell. I mean, I'm talking like a 3-foot,
Crater.
8-foot pothole.
You could paint them, the talented paint.
Yeah.
Those painted wrong, yeah, the holes, they look so real.
Yeah, put a caution sign up.
Swimming pool.
Slowing down in front of my house.
Yeah.
But a footnote on the speed tables on Jennings Avenue, the fire department's headquarters is on Jennings Avenue and has one very near their entrance. No objection from the fire district.
Yeah,
That was one of the concerns, but they're properly engineered. They don't even add 3 seconds to each stop. Not even 3 seconds.
I think anybody who
we should.
should take a ride and check it out. I mean,
Yeah,
I've never been off the main drag in Patchogue, but I'm gonna have to go and see what's up.
I'll buy lunch for anybody's in town.
Okay. You said it.
All right, good.
First, I gotta get an arm. that-
Right.
Let's see. Right-of-way encroachments.
I'm sorry, but what road was that in Patchogue?
Jennings Avenue.
Jennings Avenue.
2 ends.
Yeah. It parallels
North Ocean Avenue.
North Ocean Avenue.
It's a residential street,
Yeah.
exclusively residential, just like the setup here. Paralleling Montauk Highway, I mean, a little bit more of a distance, but same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right-of-way encroachments. I'd like to have, I guess, our engineers look at the south end of Town Line Road as far as clearing and getting a sidewalk in. I mean, reading through the emails we got from people, we had several people who, the one guy, Crane, who didn't like it, he said he thought it was time that we finally did it. And I know there's people, the people on Erica's and stuff who want to go to the beach. It would really be nice to get them out of the road. If they want to walk over, I mean, at least provide them a space to get down to the beach without having to contend with traffic. I'd like to get our engineering firm to take a look at a combination clearing and a, 5-foot wide sidewalk to get people down to the beach. Later on, if we want to do parking there, then it'll be open to do that if it looks feasible.
Bill, I saw in Florida a sidewalk that's not a sidewalk, and it's the ones they do with these round cement tiles, and then the grass grows between them.
Porous, so it doesn't, it's not a impervious.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like a cement slab, but you can ride your bike on it, you can walk on it with a stroller, and the person who mows the lawn just kind of goes across it. I don't know. I am assume I'm not a lawnmower person on that type of thing. I don't know, but maybe we could mention to them to look into those round cement tiles
Right.
that the grass grows up through. So from a distance, the homeowner would look out their kitchen window and they would still see a grassy front section, but the person walking down the street would see a safe place to walk.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think it's very expensive.
Oh, well, of course,
yeah.
because it looks good.
I mean, I've done something like that for driveways, but we used a plastic grid because that was, even shows up less than the concrete. The customer didn't want the concrete. They have the Mizell brothers, I'm trying to think what it is, near Citarella.
Right on Bridgehampton.
Yeah,
Yes.
they did that.
They did
in their
that.
driveway. Yeah, because it eliminates the need for some of the drainage. I haven't walked on them recently to see if it's an ankle twister. It's possible that it might be an ankle twister. I know if,
No high heels.
if you fill them too high, then the traffic kills the grass. It has to be a little bit of a dip below the concrete to make it work, to keep the grass in it. But it does provide drainage. That would be an alternate maybe we could have them explore, price out.
I think Jim Peterson, he brought up driveway pavers. I forget under what searches, what he.
I know. He
Pretty much.
wanted us to do it on Gibson instead of the French drain, I think.
Okay.
No,
Yeah,
maybe?
That could have been, but he's familiar with it.
Oh, yeah, he's
Oh,
definitely.
yeah.
You know, so he would.
Yeah.
Just gonna check it out. Maybe you could consider that. too.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I don't think, once they get the square footages, people can plug in whether it's concrete, asphalt, pavers, whatever they want. Yeah, so I think we're gonna push ahead and get that looked at so we can make some kind of decision.
Bill, do you want me to first send out the letter to the homeowners explaining to them that this is what the board is proposing to do? Or do you want to get the cost first? Because some of that stuff's gonna have to remove some of the
Right,
encroachments.
right.
So should I send the letter out telling them they should remove their encroachments?
Yeah, I think is that something that we do in conjunction with,
Well, Brian did it for the one down on the end.
oh, I see.
We've done them before.
Oh, okay.
To
Oh, go
homeowners.
ahead. I mean,
So-
we are gonna get the stuff out of it one way or the other.
Notice to remove the
Right,
obstruction.
to
to the
send the
road.
letter out to all of the homeowners saying,
Yeah,
you know, you need to
absolutely.
remove your,
Yeah, we were very effective at the end because that became like a serious fight, but if you, maybe it comes to be kinder for the first one. And
I
then,
think you were probably kinder than me.
Same.
right.
But, you know, John sends them out, it goes from the building department,
Right,
and he
okay.
we've done it before, you know, individually. But we would just do all of the homeowners from the corner down, those that are encroaching, to
Right.
tell them to remove
No, that sounds good. Sure. Yep,
in anticipation of improvements,
yep.
village improvements.
the safety, public safety based on recent, like what you said,
Right.
current.
I'll run the letter past Brian
Okay.
before we send it out. Okay,
And people need dates. So in the letter, there's whatever you consider reasonable.
we always,
Um,
yes, you're right, Lisa.
People need dates. I need them then I get things done, you know?
oh gosh, let's skip over the rest of it, get to the financials. Anybody have any observations about all this claims review, operations summary, capital highway fund, village hall improvement fund? Any questions or comments about it? You guys have more of a track record with this than I do. I mean, looks fine to me. Whoever cooked the book for them here.
Well, Don had to fine tooth comb.
Oh, Joy too. Joy was a good money person.
The financial.
Yeah. Joy could see things I couldn't see.
Anybody have any? No? The bottom item, resolution to approve bills. The general fund, we have 33,803.36 to pay out. I make a motion that we pay the general fund balance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The tree fund, we have a payment to make of $196.70. I'll make a motion to pay that bill.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Planning T&A, whatever that means.
Trust and agency.
Trust and agency, we have a bill of $3,278.54. I'll make a motion to pay that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Committee reports. I think we've had all these reports. I mean, is there something to be added to any of this? I mean,
I want to add one thing. It's
Okay.
kind of between mine and Maryland. The bridge, Sag Bridge, the other morning, there was 15 cars parked down there, 25 surfboards,
oh,
kids running all around. Remember a year or so ago, we were having that problem.
Probably paddle boards.
Animals,
Yeah.
yeah. So I
Did you
think
get a
maybe
name?
we
Did you
need
get
to
a
tell our boys in blue to
Yeah,
move those people on, because it wasn't them just dropping there.
no, there,
There was kids running
Business,
all around.
was there
Parked,
a
they were
name
parked
on
right,
the vehicles?
obliterated the no parking signs. They were parked right from the nice
On the
house
north
there, well, not on the north side, south side, all the way to the bridge.
Was there any name on any of the, I mean, somebody was
didn't
probably
notice.
offloading.
I think it's the same one,
Paddleboard.
they were offloading, but I didn't go back in a half hour or so to
I'll
see,
have them check
just
it
have
out.
them check it.
Yep.
You know, move
So
the people
somebody
along.
give it-
It's mostly weekends, so if they look.
right.
But then it became a little coffee clutch with everybody dropping the kids off,
So-
taking their lessons.
Sounds exactly what I was gonna say. So it's a
Yeah.
commercial venture down there on public property. They don't have
Yes,
permission to do
exactly.
so.
Right,
Exactly, so
good. Okay.
just something to bring.
It's always on weekends. The police would, if you hit the guys that work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's not midweek.
No, I think it was Saturday.
Yeah.
Anybody else have additional comments from?
Well, I just wanted to mention, I'm sure you all see it after the conversation that Bill and I had with Superintendent of Highways, Charles Bogardle. They have been going to town cleaning. They cleaned down at the bridge. I haven't been down there yet,
Yeah,
but I
Oh,
saw
I've
the
seen
town
them.
they
line.
did the south
Yeah.
side, but they didn't do the north side.
Okay,
Maybe they're gonna come back.
we'll just make sure they are. Yeah.
South side looks nice. I mean, you got a nice clear view of the pond now.
Yeah, about time.
Yeah,
We gotta re-elect this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very receptive to.
and the town did cover that drainage
Oh, good.
across from Lauren Thayer's, but they haven't replaced the tollway sign at the end of Gibson.
Uh,
Oh, where is that at?
That's all the way down, the
you're
last one
right,
at the end.
Because I
of
forgot to tell them.
Yeah, it's laying there
Yep.
along the guy's driveway. It was anyway.
So who painted the roads recently?
You painted.
Well, I mean, the
white lines?
Yeah.
The highway department does that.
So they painted the crosswalk at the school, but they didn't do it at Sag Store. Did you notice that?
I didn't, maybe there,
It does need to be repainted.
Yeah.
next to it.
You know, I wonder,
I don't know when they did
that
it.
crossing at Sag Store, that really is dangerous.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't pick up the mail often,
Yeah.
but man, there's some, you know, they got 10-wheel dump trucks which go through
Yeah.
there
Oh, yeah.
more than 25.
Yeah, and they don't slow down.
I'm
for that
surprised they get up to speed. I mean, if they stop at Hedges and they're already moving,
crosswalk.
yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
I don't know what the solution is, what you design. I know at one time we had something on the road that got ran over years ago.
yeah, not too many years ago, we had a.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, we couldn't keep it, we couldn't keep it there. Yeah,
I'll ask the highway department. if they
See if we
put
can
another one out
repaint
there.
in that area where they would stand waiting.
Yeah.
for Somebody stop on it and stop.
Those yellow signs are good in the middle of the road. You know what happens, is somebody's got, maybe we can sign somebody in the post office, take them into a winter snowstorm, they get plowed over by
Yeah.
the plow.
right.
Well, they get plowed over by the.
Right.
People trouble, jeez.
Okay.
I think we need to do at least something like that. I mean, it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe a lot of people don't stop for it. If you're standing in the crosswalk, you keep right on.
Right, oh, yeah, yeah. I wonder where you can get those, that stand-up sign. We got a few of them, throw them out there. At one time, I put a road cone of my own out there for a while,
Did it work?
and then somebody stole it. Actually, I've got
I mean,
one.
we can get them.
uh,
We're
one
not
of
just
the
What
saying
front
that.
stand-up
left
road
one in
signs
front
are
of
you
my
talking
house.
about?
Little,
If I think of it,
the
I'll
yellow
move it.
stanchions about this high, just narrow, and says yield for pedestrians.
Yeah.
It's kind of almost like you want the- Yep.
on them.
The kid?
No, not a truck.
No,
not a
yeah,
truck.
you know, running there, no.
I'll ask the highway department if they can put one
Or
out
we
there.
can put an old baby carriage right
If
now.
not, we can buy them.
Yeah,
There are
Okay.
companies that we can purchase them from.
next meeting date, we're already to that?
Yeah.
We already have public input.
We didn't talk about public Porta Johns.
Oh, well, Rhoda's gonna get pricing, availability, who supplies and all that.
Where are they going?
Yesterday, I had another truck and trailer stopped across the street from my house and somebody got out to go pee. People need a place to go to the bathroom, whether it's workmen or people jogging or bicycles. And ask Mary Lee Foster about the field where these people were with all the paddleboards for. When she used to farm that, she told me it was just hideously disgusting where people, they fish on the bridge and they go there in the bushes and they pollute the pond. You know, where
Must
do
be
you
a
do
lot
that?
of people.
Huh?
Must be a lot of people.
No, it is
They
up.
grabbing.
It is up.
Yeah, I mean, the problem, like the bridge is one of the most beautiful places in the whole world. A
Mm.
porta potty would be really hard. I agree with you. I think people need a place to go. And if there's a place, if there are places that they know where they are, like
The beach.
Sag Main and if there are, or somewhere where it's obscured a little bit, so it's not like
Narrow
right out in
lane.
the open. I have a really hard time with a porta potty at the bridge, even knowing there's a lot of people there. If they had another option, maybe. Because I think people would just, workers would stop there and it would be a,
Next thing you know,
It'd be a
there's
place
5 people
for-
waiting.
yeah, to go, it'd be a place.
Another
Well-
coffee clutch.
There's a need for it. I mean, when my
Yeah, but-
arm's better, I'm glad to build an arbor and we'll plant a vine over. Whether you plant, I mean, there's plenty of great vines which will totally cover it up. It won't cover it the first year, but I think it's, you know, it's a human right, dignity to be able to go to the bathroom. And I mean, porta johns aren't the greatest,
I
but
think we can write a sign saying bathrooms at Sag Main Beach, next right.
yeah, but have you tried to go to Sag Main Beach during the day?
Fine,
And
I'm
we don't
talking in
enforce it.
general, like January and March.
They take it away.
they lock it up.
Leave it.
Yep.
We don't control it. It's the town has their porta john.
So we asked the town to leave it.
Absolutely, but we need more than that. Yeah. Earlier in the spring, a friend of mine who likes to.
You
bike
don't, I understand,
Yeah,
situation.
convinced me to go take
You
a
don't
bike
have
ride
to
down there.
tell me
And
about
then
it.
he's in the bushes peeing into Sac.
I got it,
And it's pollution, you know, yeah.
and illegal.
Well, come on.
It is illegal
Everything's
to
illegal.
pee in public,
Yeah, I know.
more cops. Bill, we need you down there.
We'll get a camera in front of my house and we can get a count of how many
Double
people
the patrol.
pee in the woods across the street from my house. I tell you, it happens all the time. Anyway. Set the next meeting date, or we still got something else we want to turn on? Okay. Work session, planning board, Wednesday, August 10th, 3 p.m. Do we need to vote on that?
No, that's just.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see, we're gonna have a brief executive session.
Yep.
Make a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of looking at real estate. We got a second?
Second.
All in favor?
I.
Aye.
Aye.